Bafsin Green Construction and Trading up Bama Ghana for. Say Juma Kwedu and Juma Fatason. And to say your hotel, school, hospital, bank, offices, and the Westie. Now Pobiam and to Mutas amount there. And then I may come for Bafsin Green Construction and Trading at the amount.
Tanga Central. The Punch TV. He's a ranking member on the Finance Committee. He's joined us on the line. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners tomorrow.
Now, when the president goes into an election, he is the president of the republic and also the presidential candidate of his governing or of his party that he represents. If you have no difficulty with a president or a president being a presidential candidate, why do you have a difficulty with a parliamentary candidate taking up a job?
Well, the presidency is a creation of politics. It is a creation of the Constitution, and it is a political office. The managing director of a bank is not a political office. That is the difference between the president being a flag bearer and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, because that is the creation of the Constitution. It was created to be a political office. But the MD of a bank is not a political office. So we cannot be confusing the two. What I have seen the president do is to consistently show lack of faith and the desire to save NIB from its numerous challenges. What it has done now is to turn NIB into a political financing machinery for a parliamentary candidate. And he doesn't care what that does to the resources of the bank. But it is not only that. Even with the Bank of Ghana, Felix Addo, a renowned accountant, one time the country manager of Prez, his competence is not in doubt. But this is about the second or third time that the Bank of Ghana is appointing him as an advisor to NIB. What happened to the previous appointment? What is there? What is there that he's going back to do? What has he not finished? And if I were him, such a professional, I will reluctantly decline my involvement with NIB because it simply doesn't make sense for you to go there and advise a bank on the first instance, second instance, and what we have is a bank that is the most ill-capitalized in our country, a bank that is virtually insolvent, and all that they are doing at this point in time is simply say that, look, the IMF program is saying that, look, before you can get the next chance, show commitment that you want to resolve the issues with NIB. So let's appoint a new managing director. Let's appoint a new advisor to NIB. Let us send a token of about 1.9 billion as part payment for recapitalization and go and show to IMF. This is what we have done. This is the effort we are making. We have sacked the old MD. We have brought a new one. We think that will lead to a new leadership. Never mind that he's a political person. Never mind that he's politically exposed. Never mind that he's a parliamentary candidate. Never mind that exposes the funds, that 1.9 billion that we are sending there. It appears to me it is to find a way back to the NPP for political financing of 1 billion, 1.29 billion. And so you put a political machinery there to make sure that you dissipate those resources. But on top of that, you get rewarded by IMF. That then sends you another amount of money for fulfilling certain obligations that are in your agreement. This is very, very terrible for our country, and the bank deserves better, and the people of Ghana deserve better.
It's interesting you say that when I asked you the question, you said the presidency's job is a political one. It makes sense. But isn't our government, the very nature of it, very also political? Everybody you expect to play a neutral role or an independent role is put there by a politician anyway, starting from the central bank governor himself, who is appointed by the president, who is partisan. So if it is okay for the president to appoint a BOG boss whose political leanings you may not know, but of course there's a possibility that the president is choosing someone he's comfortable with, why do you then have a difficulty when a bank that is regulated by this same central bank governor is getting an appointee or an MD being appointed which MD is a politician, an active one as that? Is it your difficulty that the new MD is colored blue or your difficulty is that he wouldn't have enough time to concentrate on the bank because the distance from NIB headquarters to Manso Nkwanta in the Ashanti region is a lot of kilometers?
So, one, you answer my concern by admitting that the NIB as a difficult bank requires a turnaround specialist that will put in the necessary effort and time to turn that bank around. Nobody can do a part-time job at Bank of Ghana, at the NIB, by combining that difficult task of turning around a patient in coma back to life, and at the same time, focus on other things such as your own interest of becoming a member of parliament. So that already tells me that your priority will be to secure your mandate as a member of parliament and leave the bank to die in comatose. That is a bigger problem. But remember also that when we enter politics, there are certain positions that immediately we consummate our position, we are not even allowed to take up. For instance, no member of parliament can become the managing director or a CEO of an institution. By mere fact of the fact that you simply do not have the time and the capacity to share those 8 hours of your time between two financial institutions and your role as a member of parliament.
But has he complained? You're crying more than the bereaved. Perhaps he has the expertise. Don't we have? Just a second, Honorable. Yeah. Do we not have MP board members who are actively campaigning to be retained? Don't we have ministers who are also parliamentary candidates? They do not leave their jobs as ministers, but they are able to go and campaign and win their elections. Why is this one special and different?
Board members are not executive day-to-day administrators of an institution. That is the difference. A board member merely does not perform official.
Bafsin Green Construction and Trading Abama Ghana for said you make do and Juma Fatas on and to say your hotel, school, hospital, bank, offices, and the sea. Now podium and not to mutas amount there, and then I make for Bafsin Green Construction and Trading at the amount. Obuan wasn't done a won't you. Emane ha crampo, and posabro train hour, no west to fear a gun and podium and not to mutas amount there. And yana me can for Bafsin Green Construction and Trading at the amount. The Yanni so benny muji your 2 bathroom tiles, compound tiles, swimming pool tiles, kitchen tiles, and in your home. Then it is summer woman said, so pass Seattle. Now do location Maya, the Yan say a gunner, ye benya be the amount. Na yan juicy candy, yan dada, said young crofobie the young crofobino. A sunset task would you make the Yedintino, yet on cement, natural stones, tile cement, slabs, marble tiles, and nobody lay a sign so a supply. A sense of Juma Hotel, not swear need to know. You were a wedding cracks are a certificate, a treasure your fat entity. Obetini a friend whom a true for so 0505 62 68 23 0505 62 68 23. Oba we a breaku. Waja adequate winnie by quantum pona so. Bafsin Green Construction and Trading. We do it just the way you love it.
Day-to-day at
the Punch TV.
You are looking at somebody who is not going to be a board member, who would only appear to take decisions that will lead to the direction of the company once in a while, probably maybe once in a quarter. But you are talking about somebody who is supposed to immerse himself in the day-to-day administration of the institution. And you go for a part-timer who has to spare his time between the bank and that of his most important function of wanting to become a member of parliament. And you think that that is right. That is how you treat a patient. That is how you treat a patient basically on oxygen and expect that patient to survive. Clearly, it means you are facilitating his death. But don't also forget that we know that when you are politically exposed in an election year and you are appointed the managing director, and in addition to that, that politically exposed person is to manage 1.9 billion of new injections. What you have simply done is that you have handed 1.9 billion to your political financing and not to the bank. But that is not what we are looking for. We are looking for 1.9 billion that will go towards recapitalization and that will lead to the growth and survival of the bank and not to finance political activity. And that is what we have simply done. We'll set everything up to ensure that we send 1.9 billion and dissipate it to finance political activity. And you don't see anything wrong with that.
What is the proper process of this appointment? Because the bank has made the announcement. Does it have to be ratified anywhere? Does the House of Parliament have to have a say in this? Who ultimately can reverse this if there's need to reverse it at all? And where can there be a scrutiny of it if there ought to be a scrutiny?
That reversal has to happen at the board level. The president has signaled who he wants to be the MD, and it is up to the board of directors to take the processes and steps to ensure that they comply with the internal regulatory activities of the bank in order to secure that appointment. And we expected that the Bank of Ghana governor would have been very mindful of the fact that this is an ill-conceived appointment. This is an appointment that is injurious to the health of the bank, and it is an appointment that does not guarantee that this bank will be in safe hands, and therefore would have declined the appointment of this man. But he himself has approved it. He has also gone ahead to approve another advisor who has been there many times and has achieved no results. The end result is that both of them, this man was a deputy managing director. This is why they brought the bank on its knees. In fact, we had to undertake press conference upon press. I can tell you that at one point they had taken a decision to kill that bank. And it has to take me and my team to undertake a press conference at the last minute. And you recall the fallout I had with the then managing director, who I'm happy he's now been sent home to go and have his peaceful retirement and not a retirement in that bank. Now, what is the difference? Having a retiree struggling to hold the bank, or a political appointee who is focused on becoming a member of parliament and creating an avenue for political party financing and killing the bank slowly with poison? Which one is better? It's unfortunate that these people just don't think about us. They think about how to win power. They think about how to save themselves and not the institutions that they came to inherit. And I'm very sorry for NIB. I don't see any way out. I cannot wait for a new leadership under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to rewrite the wrong and put the right people in place and the right structures with a genuine effort to save that bank and reposition it as one of the most enviable banks that we can ever have in our country.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Bolga Central MP and ranking member on the Finance Committee, Isaac Adongo.
Yama Obi Akwababa, Mansa Media College. Mansa Media College a school, power, a chat TV so, any radio so, Jumedie. Ya sue ewo Kumasi atonsu. Baby a uwo bia opesoba Mansa Media College. Na be hu Jumedie yedi ni honma. Yentie Jumedie yedi no Mansa Media College.
Se usua bribi wo media mu. Ana opese ohunu bribi biara efa media ho. Enso eche kra.
Mansa Media College e wo homa.
Ye wa achechefo a wa kwadiri yie wa adetwemu na in studio ni ye newsroom de editwam. Wonsam twemu no ye twe bribi ti se kasebo akenkan ni sinitwa ni bebura ekeka ho. Wa multimedia mu nso ye twe bribi ti se sini mfoni asiesie mfoni nitwa ni bebura ekeka ho. Ye betumi nso aboa ama wo de na otwepe asunya bribi wo nkitahudie adwuma ahodo nyinaa mu esanse ye wo yankasa foni nti abwe biara ye ma ya adesuafo kwan ma okọ yode ya twerɛ won adesua dan mu no
ahwefo ehu ekame ese obi biara wo le bosomtwe ase enim abakosema efa nsuo yi ho menya abofra ketewa bi wo ha ono so se onim abakosema efa le bosomtwe ho
abusuafo ye mama kwaba eba Ghana Pages TV so emra so se the trending issues near koso ewo abefo tentan fidie ni so ebesomo midin na naje wa akode
Mansa Media College. Ya ma o de we hia bia wo nkotahudie mu.